Legend of Total War here, and today I want to talk to you guys a bit about Kingdom Under Fire 2. So as a content creator, I do receive a lot of emails from game developers that want me to play and then promote their video games. But most of the time, I don't really have that much interest in those particular games, or just don't have the time. But every now and again, I'll get an email that grabs my attention, so much so that I can actually justify putting aside Total War for a few minutes and actually checking it out. And so I did receive an email from Kingdom Under Fire 2, and this is actually a sponsored video that's sponsored by Kingdom Under Fire 2. Now, I've actually been playing this game for about 2 to 3 weeks now. They've been patient enough with me to allow me to play this much before making some content on it. So throughout this video, I want to talk about my experience with Kingdom Under Fire 2 and why I think that you guys might enjoy it. So this is an MMORTS, and that's the first thing that got my interest, the fact that it's a massively multiplayer online RTS game. Now there are of course some RPG elements to it, but it is primarily real-time strategy. And throughout this video, I want to talk about all the different things that you can do in this game and the things that have so far excited me as I've continued to play it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the character side of things. You know, who are you and what do you do in this world? So it's a fantasy world that's got a sort of a mix of medieval sort of combat with monsters. There's orcs, elves, so on. Big monsters, flying machines, whole bunch of things. There is of course a story that goes along it, but I won't really address any of the story elements at all, because that's really just a driving point for the missions. Anyway, so as for the characters in the game that you get to choose from, Kingdom Under Fire 2 has 5 different classes to choose from. The Gunslinger,
Follow me.
the Berserker,
Don't get in my way.
the Spell Sword,
I'll freeze them all,
the Ranger,
as light wishes.
and the Elementalist.
With the power of Mother Nature.
And I prioritize playing as the Ranger class because that suits my particular playstyle. So it's primarily an archer, good long range damage, quick attacks, very easy to get in and out of combat. And there is another reason why I chose this particular class, but I'll let you decide for yourself what that might be. Anyway, so as you continue to progress through the game, you gain levels up. Currently the max level is 30, which I've just reached. And you pick up items, just like in any other RPG game. You get skills, distribute your skill points accordingly, and also pick up equipment. And there's a lot you can do with the equipment as well, such as enhancing it. You can craft your own equipment, so on and so forth. Just like in, many other, RPG games. Anyway, so that's basically the RPG elements. Now, in terms of the the combat in the game, how you use your character, it's very much, I guess, like Dynasty Warriors. You've got one OP character that goes around and can kill dozens of people at a time. At the same time, the enemies that will come at you, they'll come big battles, but they'll also be mixed with single entity dudes that are really hard to take down. There was one particular sandworm thing that I had to fight that really gave me a hard time. The combat's really fast paced, but also quite tactical. Got all these different abilities that are based on cooldown, so you certainly actually need to use your controls in this. So, you're using these constantly can give you the edge on the battle. And of course, as you level up, you'll get new ones. So the top layer up here is the personal, attacks that you can do. And then these ones are the strategic mode ones, which I'll go into a little bit later. So that's sort of like the RPG stuff, just a basic side of things. Then you've got this is what really drew me into the game, is the RTS side of things. So the character that you play as is not just a great fighter that can take on dozens of units at a time. They're also a captain and a commander. In most of the missions that you'll play, it's not just your job to just go in and fight in a sort of Dynasty Warriors sort of capacity, but also to command other units, and the strategic choices that you make will have a big impact on how quickly, or even if you can get through the mission at all. So opening this up here, this is my barracks. these are all of the troops that I currently command, and there's the second page of them. So there's a whole different, there's loads of different criteria with all these troops. And I'll just go through some of it basically. So you've got anything from longswordsmen here, which, you know, sending into melee to tie down units. Archers, not good in battles and missions where you're going to get ambushed a lot, which does happen. Riflemen, which is really efficient for dealing with big monsters. So the bigger the creature, the more damage they do. So if you're going up against some really big thing, such as a huge sandworm, these guys can dish out a lot of damage from afar. As long as they're kept out of melee, they're very, very squishy. Then you've got things like wizards. Wizards are good for dealing with mobs of infantry. Again, as long as they are kept out of melee. And one of my favorite units is actually the Scorpion here. So this guy is terrible at dealing with big monsters, but is probably the best unit I've found so far at dealing with mobs of infantry, because he's got like an artillery attack that just wipes out in a line just about every single infantry that it comes across. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. And then there's other units which I haven't used quite as much, such as my my orc flamethrower units here. I've got some pikemen. Well, they're called spearmen, but they act as pikemen. You set them up in pike formation and they stop anyone from moving through. I've got cavalry, which I haven't really utilized that much yet. And I've got an ogre, which, again, haven't utilized yet that much. So various different units. Now, other things that you'll notice is that each of your units will have a level ranking from 1 to 30. Obviously, the higher the level, the more health they have, the more damage they'll deal, the more defenses they have, and they'll just overall be better. And then underneath that, they've got a degree of like stars between 1 and 5. Now, the more stars they have, the more abilities that they can unlock. So, for example, the Scorpion here, I've got all 3 of his abilities, but I haven't yet unlocked all of their passive abilities. And as I continue to rank up and purchase these abilities from various vendors, the Scorpion will get better. So the max level for all of your units is currently 30, and the max rank is 5. So once I've got a unit at level 30, rank 5, and leveled up all of their abilities to maximum, and also given them all the equipment that they can get, because you can upgrade their equipment, making their stats even better, then they sort of reach their maximum. Now, there's also base levels of quality. So some of these guys will have grey text on them. That's basically like common. Whereas the Scorpion here, that's blue, which is sort of like a bit better than common. But the best ones are the purple ones. So even though these like Crusader units are sort of a basic infantry unit, but because they're purple, and even though they're only level 25 compared to the level 30 here, these guys here are way better than the grey longswordsmen. So there's a whole different bunch of ways of which you can upgrade your units, and even select better ones from the when purchasing them, to determine the quality and tactical applications of them all. If you've reached this far in the video and you like what you've seen and you want to check this game out and maybe even play with me, check out the link in the description. This game is available on PC through 3 different packages, from $29.99 to $49.99 and finally $99.99. As an added bonus, thanks to the sponsorship of Kingdom Under Fire 2, I will actually be reopening my Discord. I'll be starting another one basically from scratch, and this one will be specifically for when there are the rare opportunities to play games with me, because, you know, most of the time I do play single player games. But I do intend to keep playing this game going forward, and I'm going to create a guild, and you guys, if you want, can join the guild so that we can do some of these missions together, because it's not just one-player missions. It's not a single-player game, even though a lot of the stuff can be done on a single-player capacity. So, if you are interested in joining the Discord, there is a link in the description. Now, if you don't intend to play the game, you certainly can still join the Discord. It's just that you're not really going to get that much benefit of it, because at the moment, it's really just going to be used for coordinating missions and stuff like that. So if you want to join the guild as well, I'm on the European server, so if you do join the American server, I won't be there. I intend also to play this after my live streams, maybe every second day. and live stream some of that gameplay on DLive. So we'll see how we go. I'm really looking forward to actually sharing some time playing this game with you guys, and hopefully you can enjoy it as much as I have so far. And I look forward to seeing you in the game. I'll see you next time. Can't swear in this video because it's sponsored.